Alright, so I thought I would just give a quick sort of summary or analysis, whatever you want to call it, of this scene from Outlaw King where King Robert the Bruce is crowned the King of Scots. Now, first thing to point out is this is Linlithgow. This is not Scone. Very clearly it's Linlithgow. And you can see the lion rampant here in the background. Well, that's his standard. Why? Because he's of Davidic Jewish ancestry. He's descended of King David. You know, when Scotland was Jewish, talks about this. You know, I notice a lot of them all have beards and things like that. You know, this bishop, he has to give his approval, and it's all in Latin because they're all Catholic back in these days. I mean, they're of Jewish ancestry, a lot of these guys, but they're practicing Catholics. William Wallace was a Catholic. You know, he prayed to the Virgin Mary all the time. But anyway, very interesting as well that he's being crowned by a woman. If you get into the works of Michael Tazarian, he talks about all that. It's a good detail. This is what Outlaw King gets so right, that Braveheart gets so horrendously wrong, is the attention to detail. But I think that's a really good, you know, insertion that they put in the scene, that it's not even the bishop who's crowning him, it's this woman. There's probably reasons for that. You know, I don't fully understand all that, but, you know, it's interesting that it's a woman that crowns him.
God bless the King of Scots.
And proclaims him King of Scots.
God bless the King of Scots!
So they all have to kneel as he rises. That's good.
Your Majesty.
And I like that they've got this platform here as well, because the British kings, they're all crowned on a pyramid sort of structure. Well, again, Tazarian talks about this, the whole ritual for crowning the kings. So I like this, like different levels. It's almost like a small pyramid. That's good. That's a really good attention to detail. And now the bishop wearing gold, of course. You know, interesting, these colours. They're solar colours, red and yellow. You know, he's wearing the sun, the colours of the sun, so it's like he's being ordained, you know, by somebody wearing solar. You know, Tazarian talks about solar cults and things like that, how Judeo-Christianity is essentially a solar cult. And it's interesting how you see all these colours, you know, and things like that. He's wearing red. Very interesting. It's great attention to detail. But now he has to give his blessing in Latin.
Corona gloria atque justitiae.
Corona, that's an interesting word. It means the sun, by the way. Corona is, I think it's Latin for solar or something to do with the sun. Don't quote me on that exactly, but Corona, it's like the scientific name for the sun, or the Latin name. But like I said, it's all solar. And notice that he's got the thistle on the back of his robe here. That's very good attention to detail. Incidentally, the actor who they got to play Robert the Bruce, Christopher Pine, he's of Jewish ancestry. So it's interesting that they got somebody who's actually Jewish to play Robert the Bruce, who was Jewish by blood. Like I said, he wouldn't have been a practicing Jew, I don't think. He probably would have been Catholic along with the rest of the population. But through his ancestry, you know, he was descended from the ancient line of the Israelites, you know, as were a lot of the Scots, as were many nobles. Notice they're all, you know, bowing before the king here, and that's Linlithgow Loch in the background. That's the oldest loch in West Lothian. It goes way back thousands of years. The town of Linlithgow as well is a very famous royal borough, you know, because Mary Queen of Scots was born there, and you know, the kings, their palace was Linlithgow Palace. So it's a good choice for filming. Obviously it's not Scone. Anyone who's been to Scotland would know that. But it's a good backup sort of place. And I like that he's wearing, again, the solar colours, red and yellow, even on his crown. And here's Elizabeth de Burgh, who was Norman French, you know, probably Jewish herself, or of Jewish descent. Again, wouldn't be a practicing Jew, you know, would have been Catholic, well, very likely, along with everyone else.
I wear this crown.
The only thing that annoys me slightly, and this is only a niggling thing about Christopher Pine, is he looks older than he would have been. I mean, the king would have been. I think he was 30 years old when he got crowned. He looks older than 30. It looks like he's in his mid-40s. But, you know, it's a nice touch, though, him having the beard.
As a symbol of my duty to serve the Scottish people, my title is King of Scots.
Now, that's very interesting where he says, my job, my role is to serve the Scottish people, not to rule them. So, you know, it's a subtle distinction, but it's good. My role is to serve the people. Because like I've said all along, the king is chosen by the aristocracy, the priesthood, the nobility, all that sort of thing. If they don't want him on the throne, he ain't going to be. And he has to keep them happy. The role of the king is not to rule, but to serve. So that's good. You know, it's not my role to rule the people. It's my job to serve the people, to defend the honour of the Scottish kingdom. Very interesting. And he's saying, I'm the king of the Scots.
Not of the land, but of the people.
That's good. That's very good where he says, not the land. It's not my job to rule the land, but to rule the people, the Scottish people. And when you go into the whole Declaration of Arbroath and the Scotichronicon, it talks about the origin of the Scots. That's a subject for another time. But that's a very good attention to detail. So I'm not sure who the director of this movie was, but he really did his research, and it really shows. And I like that they're wearing furs and, you know, the style of clothing, you know, because medieval people, I know this from like Shadiversity, for example, and shout out to him. Great channel, check it out. But, you know, the people in the Middle Ages, you know, they wore very bright colours a lot of the time, you know. It wasn't just drab and grey and things like that, you know. So the attention to detail in this movie is 10 out of 10. It's absolutely fantastic. I love all the males, or certainly most of them, have beards as well. That would have been the case. I think that's his brother in the background with a moustache, but it's kind of a half beard, and the way the women are dressed is totally accurate as well. You know, the furs and all that sort of thing, leathers. It's just absolutely fantastic. And also the fact that Elizabeth de Burgh has sort of reddish hair. All the royals had red hair as well. So she was of that kind of lineage sort of thing. I don't think Robert the Bruce had red hair. I don't remember reading of that, but I don't think it would have been grey either, not at this point, because he was about 30. But, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, thanks for watching.